Going. All right. Afternoon, everybody. It's Sarah. Haven't heard from me in a while. So I wanted to talk about some stuff that's been going on. So a lot of changes have been going on in the last couple of months, and you're gonna have to excuse me. I'm all red, and I don't know why. Well, just ran up the stairs doing groceries and everything. So anyway, doesn't matter. Lots of changes in the last couple of months. Obviously, we're here in Seattle. Have been. I know I did a video about that, and that's not the point of this. So I was talking a little bit about some aspects of my personal story that I don't go over very often with a lot of people, with one of my friends earlier today. And I think it's kind of important to put this information out there. So on top of having really short hair now, I'm also down like 2 pant sizes in the last, I think, 2 months since I started working outside of the house and making some lifestyle changes. So I wanted to share this story with you guys. I'm going to backtrack a bit to some parts of the story that some of you might already know. In January of 2002, shortly after I had surgery on my wrist to remove a cyst that was in there. It was about a month after surgery. I think I had it in December of 2001. I fell down my bedroom stairs. And I don't mean tripped and like kind of sort of fell down the stairs. I went ass over head down 17 steps. Wooden stairs with a strip of metal in front. I went against my mother's advice, or my mother telling me that I was not supposed to wear my 4-inch platform heels on my stairs coming out of my bedroom. For the exact reason for what happened, actually. So there was a nail that was sticking up out of one of the stairs, and the bottom of my boot got stuck, and it tripped me down the stairs. We had a door at the bottom of the steps that was closed. And when I landed like this, but facing. So my chest was actually up against the door and my legs were up the stairs. So I V'd in half with my chin up against the door. So my neck was back, my chest was against the door, and I was essentially completely bent in half. I was very badly injured. I won't run through all of the injuries for you. I fractured my back. I fractured my neck at the L5S1, or that's at the bottom of my back. And then I fractured my cervical spine, broke multiple things, tore multiple things. And I was told years later this was going to eventually cause problems, right? But at 17 years old, Hi, Smokes. This is my cat. Hey, buddy. Anyway, at the time, I was told that, there was a strong possibility that I'd be fine. I mean, they knew there was scar tissue, and that due to the other circumstances that I don't talk about, cat, you are going to annoy the crap out of me. Do some other stuff with that situation that he's loving the hell out of I don't do the computer very often. Hey, bud. I know. You like it when I talk, I know. I know. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm going to leave this in this video too, because this cat is a dweeb. Come here. Anyway, so half of my body was tilted. I actually healed wrong. So my left side of my body is 20 pounds heavier than my right. I just naturally kind of curve. Fast forward past lots of different things. So that was 2002. Fast forward to, I want to say it was like mid 2013, shortly after my father had passed away. So closer toward the fall of 2013. I was pregnant with my son, and I started having all of these like massive problems, right? Smokes! This cat's driving me crazy. I think because of the release of hormones, my body just naturally like flipped into a different mode. So I started having, and then we found out we had black mold exposure in the apartment. Long story short, I was told that by the time I was 35, I would be in a wheelchair, that I would be immobile, that losing weight for me at that point was virtually impossible. I was up over 400 pounds already at that point. No, sorry, I was heading in that direction. I think it was like 380 at that point, something like that. And I try not to fixate on the numbers too much, but that my metabolism had slowed down so much and I had done so much damage to my body already that I was, 5-6 years away from being completely immobile. And that my situation was not going to get better. I was told that they tested me for RA, they tested me for lupus, and all of it came back negative, and they couldn't really figure out what was going on, other than, of course, the black mold exposure that nobody knew about. And it exacerbated for me emotionally after my miscarriage. I was a little over 2 months pregnant when I lost Caleb. And my emotionally, that added to everything as well. And when you're for me, when I'm super depressed, it shows everywhere. Like my whole system gets into it. My hair fell out, I gained more weight, and of course I was pregnant in the first place, so I was already gaining weight in the first place. And it just got worse and worse and worse. They put me on Vicodin on a daily basis. I went to physical therapy. I had braces around my wrists every night because I was in just so much fucking pain. I mean, it was insane. And I apologize for the expletives, but it's just, I cannot remember a day from the beginning of 2002 until about a month and a half, 2 months ago, where I was not in some sort of diabolical pain. So physical therapy didn't work. For whatever reason, just because the damage to my body was weight related. The damage to my body was partially weight related. I was not losing weight, and in fact, I think I was gaining quite a bit at that point also. My lifetime high was 450 pounds, and that was shortly after I moved to Columbus, right after Alex had died. Which was weird because I almost guarantee you that I was actually higher than that at one point, because when my depression kicks in, I can go one of two ways. Either I'm going to want food like crazy, or even the thought of eating will make me bawl my eyes out. After Alex died, I went through option 2. So I'm pretty sure by the time I actually made it to Columbus, I'd already lost weight by that point. But remember, again, I'd been told it was only going to be a couple of years and I would be on Social Security and immobile, for that matter. So I don't know how really to describe it. I stopped taking the Vicodin. I didn't want it. I was kind of comfortable with my pain level. I'd been in pain since I was 17. It really wasn't something that affected me on a day-to-day basis. So I stopped taking the pain meds and everything, and I started to heal. Emotionally heal. And for me, that was a big deal. I wasn't just dealing with, Alex's loss. I was dealing with the fact that for a solid, when did he get sick? So he started getting sick at the end of 2013, beginning of 14, I think. Yeah. Beginning of 14, it would have had to have been. So I stopped being a priority to myself. They'd already written me off. And as a result, I had written myself off. And then I had to start focusing on him. Because of the black mold exposure, I don't know if anybody knows about this stuff, what your understanding of black mold is. They eventually figured out that had caused all of the fertility problems for me, that had cost both of my miscarriages, both of my children. Alex's ejection fraction when we left Juneau in July of 2014 was 10%. The exposure had completely killed his heart. I mean, on top of everything else he was dealing with. But, so there was that, all of that kind of combined. And for me, it is very easy to ignore myself, to ignore what I need, to ignore how I feel, to ignore how anything is going with me. Especially when someone who I love needs me more than I do at that particular moment. And I knew Alex needed me. He needed me at my top. And I had to fake being at my top every single day. Because I was out of the house, doing home visits after we moved to Seattle. And I did all of this in a pain level that I would imagine most people couldn't make it through. So when I got to Columbus, I was rock bottom for me. I mean, essentially. I mean, Alex had used to keep me in check with taking care of myself, as stupid as that sounds, making sure that I was getting out of the house and making sure I was taking my vitamins and making sure that I was eating and that I was sleeping and that I had deteriorated to a point that I didn't recognize myself at all anymore by the time he had died. It's just kind of one of those things. But anyway, I tell you that to tell you this. 2 months ago, we moved to Seattle. Now, I had been in the process of losing weight and kind of getting back in the groove of taking care of myself for a while. But telecommuting allowed me to ignore everything. I essentially had it in the back of my head that these doctors were right? That it was only going to be a couple more years and I was going to be done. Even, I think, my closest friends and family had no idea that I had been given this direction at some point. When I was 29. I have a really bad problem with things like that remaining secret for me. It's embarrassing for me. It was just one of those things I didn't know how to process and deal with, and I didn't want to have to put it on other people to then also process and deal with. On top of everything else, I was not an easy person to be around when I first got to Columbus, and I know I wasn't. And particularly for my friends and family, watching me go through what I was going through was really difficult. So then to also have this other piece kind of in the back of my head was really hard for me. So we got here and I got the job outside of the house, right? And it became very obvious very quick with running around as much as I was running around that I was going to have to make some changes. So when I got the second job with the city, things really started to change. So I'm now walking and have been since day one. And I was in a lot of pain originally, but up to 5 to 7 miles a day at work between going to the bus and actually getting to the train stations and stuff like that, but then also just running around at work. My job is very interactive and I'm constantly up and moving around. I noticed about a month and a half ago, I'm not in any pain anymore. For the record, I am 33. I am 4 years out past diagnosis. I'm going to be 34 later this summer, going into the fall. I'm a year and a half out from them stating, from the age they predicted I would be when I was done, when my life would essentially be over. I've always kind of been one of those people that will not take defeat lying down. I mean, I definitely stopped there for a little while for obvious reasons, but it always has been, I'm going to get back up. And I don't know how to quit. It's just one of those things. So here we are. And I'm literally moving more than I think I have since that diagnosis. I'm mentally, I can feel that I'm more stable right now than I think I have been in quite a while, which sucks because a lot of the people that know me are like, oh, you're so sweet. And I'm like, yeah, you should know me when I'm normal. But, I don't know. I'm easing into a new version of myself, or a version of myself that I haven't been in a very, very long time. But I tell you that to tell you this. I did a video it was like last year, actually before the move, that was called saying fuck it to your naysayers. It's funny because in that video, I never acknowledged my biggest naysayer has always been myself. 100% always been myself. I am willing every now and again, if somebody's in a position of authority over me, to just kind of take it. And I think if it had been any other point in my life than when I was super low, I probably wouldn't have. Like, I probably would have fought it a little bit harder, but I'm here now. And it's been a journey. But, I'm eating better and I'm sleeping mostly better. I mean, I think sleep's always kind of been a thing for me. It's just, I don't think it's ever going to fix itself. I feel safer in myself now than I think I have in a long time. There's a whole bunch of other things that go into this. But yeah, take care of yourselves. You know, don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. You know, get out there, move around, do your thing. I don't know, like I seriously, like, I got into Torrid, what was that, like a couple weeks ago, and I was no, not even a couple, like last week before, and got into some new clothes and everything that are actually fitting, that are seriously the sizes I haven't worn since I was a teenager. I bawled my eyes out. Part of it because I look damn good right now. I'm not going to stand up and show you my body, but I look better than I have in a while. But the other part of it was, like, I had to swivel my hips to get into my jeans, and I could actually do it. A couple of years ago, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning without being bent over slightly sideways and having to crack myself in every direction known to man to get myself to stand up straight. And now it just happens. It's intrinsic. It's just one of those things. So, yeah, if you're struggling with weight loss, if you're struggling with your health, if you're struggling with making yourself a priority in your own life, reach out to people who you trust and let them know. Get motivation from however you need to do it. But do it for yourself, because I'm going to walk into being 35 years old, and my goal is to walk into being 40, 50, 60, you know, whatever my life is going to bring me over the next however long I'm alive, and I'm going to be standing tall doing it, because fuck it. I love you guys. I thank you very much for watching this journey, and I hate saying journey because it's kind of always a work in progress, but the people in my life who push me and who help me kind of drive my mind back in that direction, you guys know who you are. I love you to death. I hope I make that clear on a pretty daily basis, because you guys aren't getting rid of me anytime fucking soon. Except for these cats. They might. Have a good day.